Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
ESPN is at it again. They're continuing to set their own brand on fire. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. As always, hope you had a great 4th of July. Shout out to the 19. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Really do appreciate it. Let's get rolling. Caroline Peck. Caroline Peck on ESPN had some very, very interesting words regarding Caitlin Clark. We're going to talk about it. We're going to react to it. And then we're also going to play you a clip. We're going to rewind time, folks. We are going to go back. Well, actually, we're going to go to the past and then we'll come back to the future. But, and what is really quick before I play this, what is really funny about this, what is really amusing about this is we all knew this was coming. They're all so predictable that after the Fever had those two big wins, the Lynx and the Aces, we knew this was going to become a thing. But let's take a listen to the very insightful words from that unbelievable font of basketball knowledge, Caroline. I always want to say Carolyn Peck. I thought it was Caroline. Am I missing something? Does Brick Center have this wrong? Let me know in the comments below.
You were at that game just now. Look, the Fever have been on a tear. They've won 2 in a row.
I'm sorry, I just had to laugh there. Now, I know they were both blowouts, which he's going to say, but the Fever are on a tear. Now, when you hear that about a team, you're talking about sports, you're thinking at least like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 game winning streak, right? Not 2, which is like the minimum. Most people don't even call 2 a winning streak. But anyway. Oh, ESPN, how far the mighty have fallen.
A 25-point blowout of the Lynx in the Commissioner's Cup final, and then 27 against the Aces in this one. And both of those games without Caitlin Clark. How is Indiana getting this done right now?
Look, I think that Indiana is even more dangerous when Caitlin Clark doesn't play because she's a ball-dominant guard. The ball's in her hands a lot, so you know what you need to try to take away. But when you look at Indiana now, they've got so many weapons. And Kelsey Mitchell is playing out of her mind. Aaliyah Boston. I talked to Stephanie White before the game. She said in year 1, Aaliyah Boston was back to the basket. Year 2, 2-man game. Year 3, they're using her as a decision maker. And so when you have a point guard like Kelsey Mitchell and Ari McDonald making plays on the perimeter and a post like Aaliyah Boston, I'm going to tell you, Indiana, they are a threat. And specifically on the defensive end, Stephanie is so pleased with the intensity that they're bringing defensively with their length, their switches. I mean, they've wreaked havoc on their last 2 opponents.
Do you need a moment? Do y'all need a moment to catch your breath, digest all of that absolute crap that's just like pouring out of her mouth? Folks, this is ESPN. This is not me. This is not an individual with a laptop and a YouTube channel. This is ESPN. This woman gets paid to talk about that. I like where I paused it. Look at that absolute smug look on someone who does not have a brain in her head. She has the IQ of a doorknob. I'm telling you, it is single digits. That is the face of an absolutely stupid person who is incredibly smug because they just thought they gave some incredible take about Caitlin Clark, and they are so proud of themselves. I wonder who dresses her. It's not her. She's not smart enough. But first of all, Caitlin Clark, as we know, is forget the scoring. But let's bring the scoring in because we know the attention she gets from other defenses, which of course opens up the game for your Kelsey Mitchells and your Lexi Hulls and your Aaliyah Bostons and all that. She talked about Aaliyah Boston's evolution. Well, why do you think she was able to go from a back-to-basket post player in year 1 to the 2-player game and the pick and roll in year 2? Oh, that's because they brought in Caitlin Clark. Are you seeing a lot of that pick and roll? Now, Aaliyah Boston is playing well. This is not about a criticism of Aaliyah Boston, but have you seen that effective pick and roll without Caitlin Clark on the court? Of course not. Aaliyah Boston was leading the league in field goal percentage with the games that Caitlin Clark was playing. I mean, it wasn't affected much by until this last game by the game with games Caitlin Clark was out because Aaliyah Boston initially wasn't getting a whole lot of shots. Now, apparently what Caroline's saying is Kelsey Mitchell and Ari McDonald are better point guards than Caitlin Clark with their play on the perimeter. Oh, my brain hurts so much. I don't even know what to say at this point. This is absolutely crazy, delusional nonsense. Uh, she talks about the talent and the threats that this team has. Yes, they have them when Caitlin Clark is on the court as well, and they get better utilized when Caitlin Clark is on the court as well. Because guess what, Miss Peck? Despite your delusions, other teams pay a lot of attention to Caitlin Clark on the basketball court. They need to stop her, and they know that because not only is she a fantastic scorer on all three levels, yes, she is. I said it. People love to continue the nonsense that she doesn't have a mid game or she can't get to the basket. I've done videos on that with video proof that she absolutely can. It's just that she's been so effective in what she does that she doesn't need to do those things. She will at times, she will take the ball to the basket. She will use the midi game if she needs to and to switch things up, but she hasn't had to do it because the defenses haven't been able to stop her. And then you add in her basketball IQ and her passing. By the way, that thing about the last thing I wanted to add with Aaliyah Boston about the facilitator, that also happened last season. You saw that growth. Last season, it wasn't just a two-player game. As we all saw. We talked about it. People talked about how Aaliyah Boston was eventually going to get a triple-double, right? That was talked about last year when she was playing with Caitlin Clark. She had I think, what was their season high? Was it 8 or 9 assists? But if she had a game of 8 or 9 assists, and that's when people started talking about, hey, Aaliyah Boston could get a triple double. She's that kind of passer, and that was with Caitlin Clark on the court. So everything that Miss Peck says here is completely inaccurate. The Fever are absolutely not a better team, and she makes it seem like a negative with, oh, she's ball dominant. A lot of the greatest players in the history of the sport are ball dominant. That doesn't mean that the team is not as good with that. Would the Bulls have been as good without Jordan? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. So, but just to give you an idea of where Caroline's coming from, I think this is important. We're gonna, like I said, go back a moment. This was last year, folks. This is Miss Peck's deep insights with regard to the Rookie of the Year race.
Dialogue. A big question. If you had to log your vote today, who would your Rookie of the Year be in the WNBA?
I mean, it is a thin line. It's really tight. But when you look at where the teams are, and I also went a little deeper and I looked at plus minus, and I also look at net rating. And when you look at that, Angel Reese has to get the nod. Now, I know it's not a popular position to take because Angel Reese has to do the dirty work. I have said it's not sexy to have to battle and rebound inside and where you've got to do the blue collar work. But this is a player that has come in as a rookie and is putting up grown woman numbers. 12 double-doubles in a row. I mean, in one season. So when you see a young woman come in like that and do that, I would have to give the nod with her efficiency rating.
Dialogue.
Oh my goodness. Doesn't that bring back just wonderful, wonderful memories? This is and I was gonna say, don't they have any shame? But I really think some of them, like Miss Peck, and by the way, I said shout out Ken Smith for finding this. He has Caroline here, right? And I thought it was Caroline as well. You saw Brick Center had Carolyn. Let me know in the comments below. I think it's Caroline. I could be wrong. But this is the incredible basketball wisdom. These are the qualified people that ESPN is bringing to you to help you learn more about the game, to get the analysis from the likes of Caroline Peck, as you heard, right? Because this is when they were getting desperate. She went into advanced stats and plus minus and this and that. Well, the plus minus for Caitlin last year, obviously, I mean, she's played 35 minutes a game. And I've said this before. That's why I'll point it out at times when it's so obvious, but it's not the be all end all, because if You got a couple of starters that sit more than Caitlin did, like Nalissa Smith or so forth, and that gives Caitlin a lot more time with the second team players. Her plus minus is going to be affected by that, and the starters who are sitting out while those second team players are in there, their plus minus is going to be bolstered because they're playing with all the starters, including Caitlin Clark, as opposed to playing with the second team. So of course she goes into the advanced rating. She makes a big deal about the double doubles, which we know are absolute nonsense. And then I love this is a rookie doing it in a grown woman's league. Like Angel Reese is a grown woman. I don't understand that at all. As is Caitlin Clark when she's putting up these numbers, also a rookie. So that's just a really bizarre thing to say. But I wanted to just go back to that just to give you a reminder of the source of this information about, oh, the Fever are better without Caitlin Clark. And you're going to hear that more and more as, of course, now the Lynx, obviously, look, they're huge wins. I'm not taking away from that. But if you look at who they played with Caitlin Clark and who they played without, big difference in strength of schedule. Although, again, huge to win the Commissioner's Cup, huge to beat the Aces. So I am not downplaying the Indiana Fever. I'm just saying it's absolutely absurd to say they are better without Caitlin Clark. This is kind of one of those things like last year, speaking of the whole Angel Reese and the Rookie of the Year thing, right, where they were talking about, and she kind of alluded to it really briefly, but didn't go into a lot of detail about the whole, well, Chicago has a better record, so Angel Reese has to be Rookie of the Year. Hey, you remember that? So it's kind of a little bit of that, but hey, ESPN, you got to clean up your act because people, I think, are starting to get tired of this. Just look at your ratings. But let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments below. What do you think of Miss Peck's astute analysis? What do you agree with? Did she say anything worth listening to? Let me know in the comments below. Smash that like button as well. Helps out tremendously. I do appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. Go have the day you deserve, and I will talk to you later.